Are you constantly looking at what everyone else is doing? Do you use that as a reason not to do what you want? You're listening to Pure Light, where we explore how you can believe in yourself and be happy with who you are. My name is Ailey. I'm a coach, writer, and yoga and meditation teacher. This is episode 126. So it's been a while since I've talked about comparing yourself to others. I wanted to come back to it because it's been on my mind lately. Comparing yourself to others can be a way to feel good or bad about yourself, because you end up assigning a relative status that makes you either win or lose the comparison. So that's what I talked about in the previous episodes, and I'll include links to those in the show notes if you want to go back and listen to them. Comparing yourself to others can also lead to you not honoring your path and your desires. And so that's a piece that I wanted to talk about today. So a few years ago, I wanted to get a tattoo, and I felt like I couldn't do it, but I really didn't know why. It wasn't like a specific fear that I had. It was more like just this block. And I was talking to a friend about it when I realized that no one in my family has a tattoo. And no one I worked with when I was in the corporate world had one, or at least that I knew of that I could see. And so I was basically holding myself to the standards of what I saw around me. So I realized it was almost like a subtle form of comparing myself to others. And in so doing, putting pressure on myself to be like them. And as soon as I realized that that was what was creating that block, I knew that I had to do it. Because if I didn't, I would be hanging on to that desire and not doing anything about it, which is a very stuck place to be. So I ended up getting the tattoo. It's been a while now since I got it. And when I got it, it felt like I came into a higher level of alignment with myself. So when you spend too much time looking at what other people are doing, it can disconnect you from what you really want. Because if you look around and see that everyone around you is doing the same thing, and that same thing is not the thing that you want, it becomes really easy to talk yourself out of what you want. And it stems from a fear of being different or unique and not belonging. It sounds something like this to start off. All my friends are doing it, or none of my friends are doing it, or everyone in my family does it this way, or no one my age is even considering doing something like this, or no one at work has ever done that. So there's some kind of like all or nothing statement about what everyone is doing or not doing, whether that's your peers, friends, family, coworkers, whatever the group is. And then after that, doubt creeps in. So it sounds something like, maybe I should be doing that. Maybe I shouldn't be considering this. Maybe I should be doing something else. Which leads to diluting your thoughts and rationalizing choices that aren't totally aligned with what you want. So they may end up being more like a compromise between what you want and what you think is acceptable. Or it could also be that you potentially end up just abandoning your idea completely. So you can get stuck in that place of confusion where you're like, should I? Shouldn't I? Where you're being swayed by what you see other people doing or not doing. And it's almost like you're waiting for them to give you permission, even though you haven't asked, and even though you don't need it, because it's your life, not theirs. So the question then becomes, do you want to operate under the assumption that you should be like everyone else? That you should be doing what everyone else is doing? Because that's ultimately the belief that underlies that self-talk. Even though no one else has the exact same experience, ideas, skills, and talents as you. Assuming that what everyone else is doing is a better choice for you than what you want for yourself is a way of invalidating yourself or diluting your own uniqueness. Only you know what's best for you. You get to choose your path. And I'll also say, being on social media can really amplify this tendency to question your path based on what everyone else is doing, because it's an overload of what everyone else is doing and thinking. It can distract us from what we want for ourselves and from what's true for us. Assuming you should do what everyone else is doing isn't only a subtle way of comparing yourself to others. It's a way of trying to force yourself to conform. The more you infuse your choices with your true desires, the more you'll be in alignment with your true self. If you'd like to listen to the previous episodes on comparing yourself to others, as well as other related episodes, go to purelightpodcast.com. You can find the links to all of those in the show notes for this episode. And if you enjoyed this, subscribe and leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time, may you be guided by your light.